Cyber Shadow. So you want kind of a short example of what this game kind of is Ninja Gaiden 4 of the NES trilogy. Not like, not exactly like it, but it's what I was reminded of the whole time I started playing the game. I usually don't go into on this channel like the people who make the games. I may some start doing that from now on, but from what I see, is Mechanical Head, who I'm not really familiar with anything they've made. I've looked it up, like just a kind of a short research. I didn't see anything, so this may possibly be their first thing. But it's also Yacht Games, who I'm familiar with, who did the Gunvolt series, which I really liked, and Shovel Knight that I thought was okay, but it wasn't as I'm not as hyped about it as everybody else was, but it was a good game. Like as I said, this is a very Ninja Gaiden like game. I'll go into the story first. The story is basically that you are using your character's name is Shadow, and they never really say ninja, like he's a ninja character, but as you can see, if you ever look at the box art or looking at the gameplay, it shows that he has the whole ninja outfit. But he's basically like a cyber ninja, obviously Cyber Shadow, but he's basically he was sent out on a mission. And as he was out there waiting for his informant at the time, an explosion happens in the city, and he was there to witness it from a distance and was kind of caught up in the explosion, but he was saved midway during it, and he was preserved. And once he was brought back, he finds out that his clan was in the middle of the explosion. His clan is gone, and the master of the clan is come up missing. Not dead, but has come up missing. And it's up to him to figure out exactly what happened. It's not a really deep and detailed story. But what they do very well was like, you're not told a lot. If you don't read like any synopsis of the game beforehand, like anything in the back of the box, you just go into the game like I did, you're shown a very little bit at the beginning, but you're told very, very little, and not a lot is really explained. It's more like, hey, you're awake now, so you got to go here. Well, I don't really have time to explain, but you need to do this, you need to go find this, you need to do this, and that's just a constant thing. So you're told a very little bit, explained almost nothing. So as you're going, you're like, your mind is racing, like, you know, what exactly happened? Why is nobody telling me anything that's going on? What happened to the clan? You know, this and this and this. So the story does really good with that until probably honestly about halfway. I'm not gonna spoil anything, but it feels about like halfway the story starts leaning into, oh, if you ever play any type of ninja type game that has any type of even a slightly deep story, you've kind of seen and heard this already. As it keeps going, it's just like, yeah, I've seen this, I've heard this. So the story doesn't really fall flat. It's just like, for the mystery is led up to as you're playing, it kind of plays it a little bit too safe, but it's still, the story is still really good. But usually when you're playing this kind of game, you're not really going for the story. You're probably playing it for the gameplay, and that's the reason why I compared it so much to Ninja Gaiden, because I know I've beaten the first Ninja Gaiden game on NES, and I believe I may have beat and played the second one, but I'm almost certain I didn't beat the third one. So I'm familiar with how the Ninja Gaiden game plays, and this, I feel like, plays just like Ninja Gaiden, but it doesn't have any of the, I'm not going to say downsides, but the kind of things that when you're playing it and you start getting really frustrated as you're playing it, is like when the Hawks will sit there and respawn the second you get off screen and you just keep dying by them, or you need this certain type of power up, or this spot is extremely difficult or almost not able to go through. Cyber Shadow avoids those kinds of things, because when you're playing this game, you have very few temporary power-ups and you have ways to get them. Okay, so first of all, when you start a stage, you have, like, say it's kind of a saving point, it kind of acts like a shop, and you find currency like gems and energy, and you can spend them on a very temporary power-up that you'll lose after 3 hits. So it's not like Ninja Gaiden where you get hit, it's gone. So, and these power-ups they help you, but they're not completely necessary. It could be that it refills your life every time that you, refills your magic every time you die, or gives you a certain power up or whatever, and it'll happen every single time you end up dying and coming back. So it's not as punishing. With this game, the difficulty comes in the second you learn how to do something. So if you get like a new skill or whatever, you get maybe a few rooms to learn how it works. And then the game is like, okay, you better have mastered at this point because you're going to have to use it. And when you start playing the game, you get like maybe 2 or 3 rooms. They'll let you use it, and then they'll, ease up a little bit. Once you get further in the game, you get to some points where you learn some of these abilities, and you literally need to learn it in the room that you got it in, and they're going to just put you to the test like right away. And it feels like it's like nonstop. It's like as you go through the game, it's just like, you better have mastered this, you better have mastered this, because if you don't, they throw everything at you and it never seems to ease up. That's the very beginning of the game doesn't feel super difficult. You just feel very underpowered. But as you keep going through the game, you never, ever, ever feel overpowered as you're playing the game. It just goes and tests, and like every time you get something, you're like, oh man, I got like something like a double jump or something. Oh, this is how I made the game easy. No, every single area you platform in is going to require you to use this double jump and an air dash and attack this and combo off this, and you have to master everything that you're given into this game because it does not ease up. And the good thing is, every time you die, you know where your checkpoints are, because you're given like I think it's like a computer or whatever that shows you exactly, where the checkpoint is. Like this computer acts as a checkpoint where you can buy whatever power-ups that are on it. And once you've done that, that's where you're going to keep appearing all the time. So you know where your checkpoints are all the time, so you don't have to worry about, man, if I die here, I'm going to end up somewhere else. No, you know exactly where you're going to end up. The problem is, I think they give you, man, I want to say they give you enough checkpoints, but there's plenty of times I've gotten frustrated where I'm like, man, I really wanted to get past this part because I've been here for the past like 30-something deaths. But they did a really good job with this game. Because I will take this game's frustration of, hey, you just need to master how to do this, and we're gonna just throw it at you. You just better learn or just keep dying, versus Ninja Gaiden, where it's like bad enemy replacement and bosses that do this and this and practically fill the screen, except for this one little spot here, and you got to constantly make it up there all the time. I'll take Cyber Shadow over Ninja Gaiden anytime. That said, the music is actually really good in this game. You can already hear the first stage's music on this one, and it's really, really good. It's I love the graphics of this game. Like I don't know. It's like, I'm glad they didn't try too hard to make this look like a Ninja Gaiden game. Like, it looks like it definitely has its own kind of style. Like, if you played like Shovel Knight or whatever, you know the kind of style they use, and to me, this kind of fits it. The music is actually really good. The abilities you get in this game are really, they're kind of a mixed bag of how you get the abilities. Like, some of them I feel like maybe you should have got earlier, or some of them are not as useful. Like, you get the ability to block projectiles by pressing forward. The issue with it is I feel like it would have been better if they would have just gave you a button to press to kind of use that. But no, the way you block a projectile on here is you got to push forward twice. And that doesn't sound bad, but when you're sitting there you got a whole bunch of projectiles coming to you, you're pushing forward, and sometimes it won't register it as a block. It makes it difficult. And then sometimes you got to try to do this in the air. If you still block in the air by doing that, but pushing forward to me is like kind of the worst mechanic this game has of blocking. And there's sometimes you have to do that. There's some bosses that you will have to use that ability to. There's some areas that you're gonna have to do that to, or if you hit something, you're gonna fall off a cliff and you're gonna die. It's just, the game forces you to have to use it sometimes, and that's just, I don't think that mechanic fits very well to this game. I believe there should have just been a button or something to it, or anything would have been better than pushing forward. But I honestly, I really, really did enjoy this game. Like, it made me actually think I probably want to go back and try to beat whichever Ninja Gaiden I haven't beat. I can't really remember which one it is. I honestly think 3, or I might have stopped at the end of 2. But yeah, Cyber Shadow is actually a really, really good game. The story Don't go into it for the story. I'm sorry, the story is good in the first half, but it falls off around the very end. If you want a challenge, like this game definitely will challenge you. If you're watching the footage that I'm playing right now, you see me die like a bunch of times. A lot of times just me not being great at it because I don't know. I'm good at some platformers, but this one is like I'm used to. I'm a Metroidvania type player, so this game kind of isn't that. So I'm used to having certain things like double jumps pretty early. Used to having more range attacks because Cyber Shadow doesn't have any range attacks currently. He just does sword slice, and you can throw your shurikens, but that costs like SP to use. And I ain't really explain that mechanic, but the SP, the magic, is a bunch of different things. But your main thing you'll be using it for at the start would be throwing ninja stars. And when you kill enemies, you can get some SP back. But that's pretty much about it. It works for all the other little items you get on there. But yeah, I'm not great at these kinds of games, but I did beat it, and I really, really did enjoy the game a lot. But it got really challenging around the end of the game and got really frustrating. Like the bosses got frustrating, the puzzles got really kind of bad because, like I said, it would throw every single thing at you that you learn constantly. It just would not stop. It's like every room, it's like playing a Zelda game, but every single room you go into has a puzzle all the way up until the boss. And it's not like, oh, just beat this enemy. It's every single time. It's like, hey, this is a push block puzzle. Hey, this is a put this on here kind of puzzle. You gotta kill these enemies in a certain kind of order. You gotta find the hidden diamonds or whatever in the walls. Like every single room is a puzzle. On here, every single room you go into, you're constantly reusing these skills that you got, and some of them I kind of feel like you need that extra power up you can buy, because what you're getting, I'm trying to remember correctly, you can get an SP refill. What is it? You get an SP refill. I think it's some type of and a weapon power up are your options. Now some of the computers don't have those. Some of them have only the MP fill. I'm trying to think. Yeah. Actually, now thinking about it, when you do come back to life, you don't come back to life with full health unless you use the computer and you chose to pay like the 50, whatever the currency is, to refill your health. So it's almost like you're given options all the time, rather what you want. Here's the thing is that once you pay that, say for example, you pay the 50 currency to get the health, the 50 currency for the SP, and the 100 for the sword beam or whatever. You only have to pay that once for each computer you go to. Basically, every checkpoint you pay for those as long as they're available to be there. And that's cool because that means you're always getting your health refilled, you're always getting your SP refilled, you're always getting that power up back. And you're not paying for anything after that. But the issue with that is it costs sometimes so much of the currency to be able to use that computer that's like you barely have the money to get it, and you finally get it, and it's like, well, I don't have any money, so now you either gotta look out for a different kind of money or not, or you don't have enough, so you're like, man, I got enough for the SP, so I guess I need to die a few times trying to go through here so I can get the one and get my health refilled, because that's kind of the one you always want, because you're not given that much health. And you're given health upgrades, like, all you gotta do is look around the stage. You'll find secret spots that have health upgrades, SP upgrades. And I believe that's actually really about it as far as upgrades, because your other upgrades are kind of related to the story, so you're going to get them the minute you go through the level you're supposed to go through. I don't believe there's any hidden, I think maybe one or two actually hidden skills that you get, but those are like so late in the game that you're going to either get them then or you have to come back for them later on once you get what you need for that. But other than that, like I said, the game is actually really good. It's challenging. The story's okay. If you love Ninja Gaiden, you're gonna love this. I wish I can compare it to another game. Like, I really can't. Like, I want to say you can probably compare it to Shinobi. I haven't played all the Shinobi games. The only one I played was 3, but I can't even compare it to that, because Ninja Gaiden, you're using a small sprite character that is fast and does the platforming the way he does. Shinobi isn't as fast, because the sprite's kind of bigger. It's more combat based than it is platforming, and this is pretty heavy on the platforming. So yeah, Ninja Gaiden is probably the closest thing you get to it. Your Ninja Gaiden, your Mega Man X, but I almost feel like that's not really an apt comparison, because Mega Man X is a lot faster and it's more projectile based, and this isn't. You're forced to slice and kind of melee your way because all your projectiles are limited. But that aside, is like I said, it's a really good game. It's not a very long game. I think it took me like, I'm kind of guessing off the top of my head, I believe it took me maybe like somewhere between 11 to 15 hours to beat. But that's not because the game is long. It's because you get stuck in some areas for a really long time. And I'm the type of person, I didn't 100% the game. I usually like in gameplays, I like the 100%, but this one, I'm like, once I got to the end, I'm like, man, this is already difficult enough as it is, and I don't really feel like, because in order for me to go to 100%, I have to go to some of these harder stages, and I have to sit there and do all these mechanics, and it's like, you almost feel like if you're going to 100%, that means right after you beat the game, you better just go 100% after that, because the longer you wait, the more you forget all these mechanics, and like I said, the game is not going to go light on you about them, so you're going to just instantly like pop back in and just be good. A muscle memory basically had to be. You gotta have really good muscle memory and just go straight into it. Because I think the longer you wait to go back to 100%, it's not gonna work. You're gonna get annoyed. You're gonna get frustrated. And I didn't really want to go through all that. But like I said, it's not really a detriment to the game. The game is actually really, really good. I enjoyed it. I would love for them to do like a part 2 to the game, or really another game like it. They ain't gotta do a second one. They could do just another Ninja-like game or another game like this. And I would definitely get it. But yeah, and I know this game came out like 2021 or whatever, and I'm just now kind of getting to this game. Not only because I just started doing the reviews, but I was kind of waiting for the physical copy I had bought, and eventually it did finally come in. I got it from Super Rare Games, and like I said, that's the reason why I wanted to jump onto it now. But I didn't realize it came out so long ago. I'm trying to think to myself, like, man, this is actually a really good game that came out last year. And before I started recording, I looked it up. I'm like, no, this game came out like at this point like 4 years ago, which, you know, it's kind of funny. It's cool, but also like, okay, so 4 years ago, where's a part 2, or where's another game that's kind of like this? But anyways, that's pretty much all I really have though. But if, like I said, if you like Ninja Gaiden, definitely play this game. This is practically your Ninja Gaiden 4. By the time I made this video, Ninja Gaiden Rage Bound had already came out. I haven't played it yet. I definitely will play it, and I'll definitely review it. But I got other games I want to sit there and play. But definitely, like, you find this game on the cheap, whatever, because you probably would, because, you know, this game came out like 4 years ago, so it's got to be on sale on, you know, PSN, you know, such like that. So yeah, if you find it cheap, definitely play if you're a Ninja Gaiden fan. This is practically your Ninja Gaiden 4, or, you know, you play Rage Mount, you can say this is your Ninja Gaiden 5 or whatever. But yeah, definitely give it a try. Music's really good, gameplay's really good, story's okay. Graphics of it is really good looking, and it's just got it all. It's definitely a new generation Ninja Gaiden game, which, like, it's really weird to sit there and say when they just came out with a Ninja Gaiden game pretty recently. But before that game came out, this would be your Ninja Gaiden 4 of the NES series. But it's really about enough about that. This has been another Musing About video. Like I said, I'm still trying to do these reviews like once a week or whatever. Motifs that come out every once in a while. I did a motif pretty recently about Monster Hunter Wilds, and how I'm kind of frustrated on how the content kind of got rolled out. It's not so much just Wilds. I know World and Iceborne also did it. Rise and Sunbreak also had this, but Wilds is kind of the point where, you know, I have my breaking point, as it says. So I did a motif on that one, so definitely, you know, check that one out after you check this video out. And like I said, I keep this up, do a review once a week. Ninja Gaiden Rage Bound, I'll do that at some point. I don't know how soon it's gonna come or whatever, but yeah, definitely play Cyber Shadow. I appreciate it. Check out all my other videos. Do, you know, the whole like, subscribe thing everybody tells you to do. And that's it.